My name is Stephen Mortillo, and I served in the United States Army from November 13, 2002 to November 13, 2005. And I was deployed to Iraq with the 1st Squadron, 4th United States Cavalry under the 1st Infantry Division. There's a lot going through my head right now. There's a lot of stories that stick out in my mind. The best thing that I can do to illustrate to the people here the way things work in Iraq is tell you two separate stories at two different times. The first one being when we first got there. I'll backtrack a little though. I was deployed to Al-Daluya, Iraq, and I got there around March 17th, 2004. And I was, most of the missions we were doing at that time was what's called presence patrols, where we basically roll up and down the street waiting for someone to shoot at us and looking for bad guys who are all dressed the same as civilians. One night we had just SP'd the gate. We left, we had been rolling down the road. I think a lot of people in my platoon had kind of a bad feeling that night. I don't know, it's hard to describe. Sometimes you just get feelings in situations that you're about to get attacked, or things that aren't gonna go as planned. And we were rolling down the road and we received fire from an RPG, and that RPG struck my vehicle, which I was driving at the time. And because of the angle it was shot at, we couldn't depress the gun on the Bradley enough to return fire. And that was, at that point in time, this was about April, like mid-April. We hadn't really seen much combat. Up for that first month we were there, it was pretty much fraternizing with the people around, talking to people in the streets, doing our patrol, setting up checkpoints. But that night everything changed, and we were struck with an RPG, and having no one to engage, my section sergeant at the time, fired 2 warning shots into a wall, and that's the only return fire we gave. We started, all that changed after we started taking casualties. I can tell from personal experience that you start losing people over there, and it makes you angry. And you can't determine who's your enemy and who's not. And most of the combat that happens there that I was a part of, only lasts a few seconds. Someone blows an IED and runs away, and that could be anywhere in a 360-degree radius from you. And there's a type of fire in the military called suppressive fire, and suppressive fire is basically putting as much fire into a general area as possible in order to discourage your enemy from shooting at you. On several occasions, ID goes off and you just pretty much pepper the whole area with suppressive fire, because you have a few seconds to get the guy, and if you don't, he's going to come back and put more stuff in the road. We started taking casualties around August. It got pretty bad in my platoon, and I know personally I started getting resentful. And my platoon was what's called weapons free on 25 millimeter, and the longer you go in Iraq, the more friends you take, the angrier you get, the more resentful you get at the people, the more frustrated you get that you can't find the person who just killed your friends. You start losing focus, I guess, on the missions. Things don't, it's not so much about the mission anymore. It's about, doing what you have to do to make sure you don't have to stand in another formation and listen to Amazing Grace played in bagpipes one more time. There was an understanding that we were going to do what it took to, bring everyone else home after we were taking casualties. And then on December 21st, 2004, right before I left, about a month before, I left that morning to go on a dismounted patrol. And we were undermanned at that time. It was myself, one other non-commissioned officer, platoon leader, and a medic. And we went on a dismounted patrol to secure a hostile area for the log pack that was coming in, the morning log pack. And we were walking down a small dirt path on the side of the Tigris River, and we came up on this field, I guess you would call it, and we were kind of behind a whole row of houses. Like, there was the road, and then there was the houses, and then behind that there was the fields and livestock and whatnot of the people who lived in the houses, and then there was a river. And we were engaged. As soon as we broke the threshold of the field, which was kind of lucky that they didn't let us walk right into the middle of it, my platoon leader was hit in the shoulder and wounded, and he and the two other individuals on the patrol ran into I guess, low ground. The road was a little elevated, and I jumped into a trash ditch on the side of the road, like right on the other side, and there was a little barbed wire fence in front of me that had palm fronds woven into it. And at that point, I didn't know where the fire was coming from. I had a 203 and the radio. I was having some difficulty, firing back and talking at the same time. I gave up the contact report and then just proceeded to suppress the area with my 203 grenade launcher. I looked over, and my platoon leader was firing back with his good arm, and the other guys in my platoon were firing back with everything they had. And there was this house that was directly in front of the field, and the first shot I didn't hear, so I thought it may have come from inside of a building, and I started shooting grenades at and into the building. I shot, I think, 3 grenades, and proceeded to keep firing, and then I shot a flare into the air to try to tell the Bradleys that were supporting us, where our position was.